Hi guys, welcome to the final part of the HTML stream. So we are going to be talking about we did the initial stream where we spoke about a lot of things about HTML. So this particular stream is where we wrap everything up. So I'm going to be sharing my screen now. I'm going to be sharing. Okay, I'm sharing my screen already. So this HTML that we did yesterday. This is the HTML that we worked on yesterday, I guess. Okay, yes. So from here, I'm going to go live. I believe that we understand the use of the live server extension. With the help of the live server extension, we don't have to reload every time that we make a change to the HTML document. So that is an advantage of the Go Live extension. So it is going to open a live server for me. So this is my live server here. I can just bring this one out. Then I'll use it to partition my screen into two, the same way we did it yesterday. So I'll use it to partition my screen into two. Um, you know, this other one. Okay, so I had to work on my VS Code yesterday. So I reduced the font size. Let me go back to increase the font size. So I think we did 24 yesterday. Yes. So come back here. Yes, 24. So I'll just go with this. Hopefully this is big enough. Um, so my HTML will be on one side of the screen, then my VS Code will be on the other side. So okay, very good. So this is my HTML and this is my VS Code. I write my code here. I don't have to reload every time. So because of the live server, it will just update everything for me. So we are going to be talking about a couple of things. We're going to be talking about the head session. We're going to be talking about the div elements, the list, the forms. We're going to be talking about responsive HTML. Then I'm going to be introducing us to JavaScript. Okay. So these are everything that we're going to be doing. Let's start with the session. We're going to be starting with the HTML head. So yesterday, everything that we did in the body of the HTML. Everything we did in the HTML body. Hi Jerry, you're welcome. Hello Jerry, can
Thank
you
you.
hear me?
Jerry, can you hear me? Yes, I'm hearing you. Thank you, sir.
Okay, very good.
Okay, very good. So
I just continued
I
from
just
where we
continued from
stopped
where we
yesterday.
stopped yesterday.
I think you're
Okay.
on
I think you're
loudspeaker.
on
Can you?
loudspeaker. Can you?
Because the this thing
Because
is feeding
this
back.
thing is feeding back.
Do you understand what I said?
Yes, sir.
Hello. Okay, very good, very good. So let's
Is it
just
still
continue.
feeding back?
Let's just continue. Not very much,
Not very
but
much.
I think it's still
I
feeding
think
back.
it's
Are
still
you on
feeding back. Are
loudspeaker?
you on loudspeaker? No, I'm okay. I'm connecting to headphones now.
Okay, please use the
Okay, please use
headphones.
the headphones.
So I believe you can
So
see
I
my
believe you
screen,
can
right?
see my screen, right? Yes, sir.
Okay, very good, very
Okay,
good.
very good, very good.
So we are going to be
So we are
starting
going
with
to
the
be starting with
HTML
the
head.
HTML head.
So this is
So
everything
this
that
is
we did
everything that
yesterday.
we did yesterday.
So we have
So we have
we
the
spoke about the section, that is the layout element. We spoke about the anchor links, which is the A tag basically. Then mm, we also spoke about the self-closing element. We spoke about the text element and all those. So today we are going to be starting with the HTML head. This is the head over here. This is the head over here. So what goes into your head is very, very important. It sets the precedence for your web page. You in the head you can show meta information about your web page, and you can also link external documents with your HTML document. So the HTML head element is a container for the title, the style, the meta, the links, the script, and the base tags. So for the HTML head element, the HTML metadata is about the HTML document. This is not displayed. A good example of a metadata is this thing that I have over here. This cassette UTF-8, this viewport, you defining it with an initial scale of 1.0. You really have to take cognizance of all these ones. If you're coding with VS Code, VS Code will give you all these ones by default. Okay. So as for the HTML title, VS Code will also create it for you, but you're going to be having document over here. So just change this title tag over here, like I said yesterday, this title that you're going to be getting on top of your page over here. If I come to maybe conga.com, so you can see this title over. Okay, I think it just took me straight to. Oh, I didn't check the URL. So you can see this title I have over here. That is what is inside of this title tag that we have. This title tag that we have. So as for this tag over, the title tag defines the title of the document, and this title must be text only. This title over here, it can only be text, and it is shown in the browser's title bar. This title bar over here. So it is required in HTML document, and the content of a page title is very important for search engine optimization. The page title is used by search engine algorithms to indicate order when listing pages in search results. So it is very important that you take cognizance of your page title. Can you hear me? Okay, it's not here anymore. Let's continue. So, so it is very important that you take cognizance of your page title, especially for SEO. So this is just an example over here. HTML for everyone. Let's say beginner tutorial. If I should save this and I come back here, you see it have changed to HTML for everyone beginner tutorial. So whatever you add inside this within the title tag, it will be reflecting on the title bar of the web browser. So we also have the style element. The style element goes into the HTML head as well. So you use the style element to define the style information for your HTML page. So you can include your styling. If you remember the way we discussed styling yesterday, internal styling, yes. We said inline styling is this thing that we did over here, inline styling. Internal styling will be you adding a style tag to this head section. You add a style tag to this head section. That is how internal styling works. So this style tag goes into the head. That is all for internal styling. So if you want to do external styling, you can use the link, but it is not just CSS that you can do that you can do using the link tag, that you can link using the link tag. You can see the CSS, the favicon, and so many other things that you can link. This is for RSS. So with the link tag, you can link another document with your current HTML document and define a relationship for it. So this is often used for style sheets. This is the example over here. This link over here. So that is your the link tag for you. So we now have the meta element also in the head session. This meta element is used to specify the character set. You can specify the page description, the keywords, the author of the document, and the viewport settings as well. So they will not be displayed on the web page, but it gives more information to the search engine crawlers when they try to crawl your web page. So most times you don't really have to do all these things. The most important ones that will be particular to your web page is mostly these two. Then if you're working with a content management system like WordPress, you will be needing it to do for SEO. You define the date and all those things. So if you want to set the viewport, this is you setting the viewport over here, but I've never had to set the viewport by hand, so I'll just tell you to leave all those ones. So you can also bring in the your JavaScript. So something like script. So you can write custom JavaScript here. You can do something like console.log. Then you can come here and say ready to go. All in the head section. So if I should save this, you see that nothing is happening on this web page. But if I should Control Shift I to open the developer tab, so you can see the developer tab over here, the console, the web browser console. You can see it over here, ready to go. So let me remove one of this exclamation marks. If I should save it, you can see I have just two. So it is working fine. All in the head section. These are part of the things you can do in the head section. So we also have the base tag, but nobody really, I've never had to use it. So I will just skip that for now. So that will be all for the HTML head. That will be all for the HTML head. So um, let's go back. Okay, let's continue. So the next thing that we are going to be talking about, we are going to be talking about the div element. The div element. So I was supposed to include it with the layout element, but no, I intentionally created a whole section for it. So this div element is used as a container for other HTML elements. You can call it a nested element. I think there's something they call nested elements in HTML. So basically, a nested element is an element that can accept other elements. For example, this section is a nested element because you can accept other elements. You can see that the section is a parent for the paragraph, is also a parent for this paragraph. So you can see that this aside, for example, is a parent of del, which is a parent of span. So that is how nested elements work. So you can see the footer. The footer is also a nested element because you can pass in images, text, and every other thing. So the div element is often used as a container for other elements. So the div element is by default a block element, meaning that it takes all the available with and comes with line breaks before and after. Let us demonstrate this thing. So this if I come up here, so okay, just okay, let me use this one. So if I should say div, so this is the div element over here. Now the div is going to be spanning through the whole screen. Let me prove it to you. So I have a div element over here. If I should save this, come back here. Let me open my developer console, then come to elements, then this is the div item over here. So the reason why you're not seeing anything is because it doesn't have any element. So let me just say this is div. Okay, so save this and come back here. So you can see this is div. You can see the way it is spanning through the whole screen. Let me maximize this. So if I should hover on the div, you can see the div over here. You can see the div spanning through the whole screen. You can see the div spanning through the whole screen. So that is the div element for you. It is a block element by default. That is what I'm trying to explain. So you can pass in so many other elements to it. For example, you can have something like this div, for example. Let me create another div. So div, you can do something like h1. You can say my country, or let me just say my university. Okay. So you can come to the first line and do something like a paragraph. So I finished from University of Lagos. Hopefully I'll remember 10 things about my university. The name of my university is University of Lagos. Okay. So one way to do this thing is to come and write another paragraph. Then I'll say my school is located at Akoka, Yaba, Lagos State. Okay. So, but if I don't want to use two paragraphs, I can just include a line break here, BR. So this will create the line break for me. Then I can just move this one here. So I'll close this one. So I can just use one paragraph to, I can just add another line break since that will be the end of the line. Then I can just, let me write one more thing. My school is the school of first choice and the nation's pride. I like to say if you want to cry, you should cry. But that is just gospel truth for you. So moving on, you can see what I have over here. The name of my university is University of Lagos. My school is located at Akoka Yaba, Lagos. Then my school is the school of first choice and the nation's pride. Okay, so this is what they call my school. Like my school is the best in Nigeria. So my university, you can see the title. Then this is the body over here. This is the body over here. Okay, so you can see what I have. This is the div. Then it is. I'm using it here as a container for these other divs. This is the div. Then I'm using it as a container for these other ones. Now, the reason why these sentences are not spanning through the whole screen is because all these I'm using a line break here. I'm using a line break here. If I should take the line breaks out, if I should take the line breaks out, you see that it is spanning through the end of the screen. So let me increase this, close this. So you can see it is spanning through the whole screen. So that is that for the div. So if you want to center align a div, if you want to center align a div, you can use the width and the margin auto to center the div. So I think another thing you can do, if you do style, this is a bit of CSS that we're doing here. You can do something like the width should be maybe 400 pixels. Then you now say margin left and margin right auto. So you can say margin is maybe zero for top and bottom, then auto for left and right. If I save this, it's supposed, you can see it is now in the middle. It is now in the middle. So you can also say text align center to align the text to the center. If I save this, you can see the text are now aligned center. So that is how you can align um, a div to the center. You can also have a div inside another div. That you will do it, like it is very common. Having a div in another div, very very common. So for example, I can just come here and create another div. Then I can say this is the, no. Let me use an H1. Okay. This is another div. So I can just copy this and maybe let me use it in 5 different lines. Or I can just use lorem actually. Lorem 50. So you see that this lorem 50, let me create that line break. If I save this, you can see I have a div inside the parent div. So this is basically the parent and this is the child. So you can see that all this text align center that applies to H1P also applies to the child div. So that is it basically. You can create nested divs. So you can also float the div. There are so many things you can do with your div. You can use the CSS grid property, the display flex, and so many things that you can do with your div. So, but I think I will stop there for now under the divs. So just know that it is a block element. It is often used as containers for other items, and you can apply all the regular CSS styles. You can apply it to the div. So I don't know if. Hi Jerry, you're welcome back. Jerry, can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes, thank you, sir.
Okay, okay. So I just finished talking about the HTML div. So
Yes,
the
I
recording will
was
be
following what.
available.
I was
Okay, you are
following while
following.
backstage. Yes.
Okay, okay, okay. That's nice. That's nice. So let us move on to lists. Let us move on to lists. So um, the list is one of the very important elements that we have in HTML. The lists. So the HTML lists. So HTML lists allow web developers to group a set of related items in a list. So if they are related, you can just group them using a list. So you will do this often in your web developer journey actually. You might have like a navigation. So you use the navigation, you put it into a list and you style them from there. So now the first type of list that we're going to be talking about, we have the unordered list. So this unordered list, um, I think this is the one that you're going to be using mostly. This is the one you're going to be using mostly. So let me say section. So this section, we are going to be talking about list. So for you to create an unordered list, you say UL. So then you have your list items. So the first list item, I can do something like let me say players that I like, footballers that I like. The first one is Cristiano. No, 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 there's no H. Ronaldo, the GOAT. Then I'm not supposed to like this other guy, but he plays good football, so I'll just add him here. So then let me see. There's this guy in France. They call him Kylian Mbappe, the Cameroonian. Then which other player do I like? I think I like a player called Bruno Fernandez. Actually, I'm a Man U fan. So the best team in the world. So now take a good look at what I have over here. This is basically how you create an unordered list. This is create an unordered list. UL, then you create the list. So you see Cristiano Ronaldo, Lionel Messi. Let me increase the font size. So I'm zoomed in now. So you see this is how you create an unordered list basically. So if you want to create an ordered list instead, or instead of an unordered list, if you want to create an ordered list, just this U over here is all you have to change. So just change this U to O, then change this other U to O. If I should save this, you see now I have one, two, three, and four. So those are another list and other lists. Now, one way that you might end up using this thing extensively. So let me return it back to another list. Now, this list item is a nested element, meaning that you can pass in other elements to it. For example, you can have something like okay, let's do something like maybe H2. Follow us on social media. Okay. So you can do something like create an anchor tag that's going to be having a link. Let me target underscore blank. Okay, so that it will open it in new tab. So just follow on Facebook. Okay, so https dot slash slash facebook.com/ halogenius ideas. Okay, so if I should save this, you see what I have over here. I'm having Facebook. This is one way that you're going to be using this list item extensively. So you can have something like follow us on social media, then you add all the links, then you style them using CSS. Let us add for the other ones. So this thing is very easy. It's very easy. So this other one will be, let me say Twitter. So twitter.com/Chris Halogen underscore. So I can just say this one maybe Instagram. Instagram.com/ Chris Halogen. Then let the last one be for LinkedIn. So linkedin.com/LN Chris Halogen. So this will be LinkedIn. So see what I have over here now: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn. If I should click on this one, it takes me to Facebook. You can see Halogenous Ideas. This is our Facebook page. Close this. So you can see what we have over here. So you can just follow us. Then this is for Twitter. This is my Twitter account. So you see it opens up on Twitter. Then we have for Instagram. So okay. So for Instagram. Then we have for LinkedIn. So okay. I think there's something wrong with the address. I think there's something wrong with the address. I'll check it out later. So basically, that is how you can use the link tag extensively. So there are so many things you can do with the link tag. You can add images. You can add if you go to a website where you have recent blog posts, all those recent blog posts that are listed out. So they might be using this list items to itemize all the recent posts. So and most people use it in their navigation bar as well. If you come to a site like this one, um, the navigation bar. If you check out, you can see this navigation bar over here. All these items over here, they might be, it might be lists that they use for them. I think I'm very sure they use lists for them. So that is that about the use of lists. So let me check if there's any question. Jerry, you got any question about lists?
No, I'm okay with it.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yes. But
So
sorry, sir.
I'm listening.
Okay, in situations where maybe if you can toggle a list and still get lists.
I don't understand what you're saying.
Okay, like in situations like under the unordered list now, maybe
Okay.
you click on it and then you click on the first option and another list still opens for you to choose.
Okay, yes, yes, yes. What you are talking
Yes.
about is nested lists.
Okay.
Okay, let me show you how to do that. It's very simple. Doing that is very simple. So basically, you come here. Um, uh, that is a very good question you asked actually. So there are some websites that you go to, and you see drop-down menus. This question you asked is also what they used for them. For example, if I come to, you see that I have Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn over here. So imagine that I have multiple Facebook addresses, like Facebook pages. So I can just come here and maybe I can just do something like this. Hope you can see my screen.
Yes, sir.
I'll just do something like I'll just create this one like this. So you can see that I have the data. Then I'll come here and I'll create an inner list. Here, create an inner list. So this inner list, I can now add list item. So I cut the other one. So I made a mistake. So this link is just what I want to copy. away with. So now that I've tested this first one, I can just come here, create another one, create another one. Now, if I should save this one now, saving it, you won't really see any changes here. Everything will look as if I'm causing one issue here. What am I doing wrong? Hope you can still see my screen.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I didn't add the text. I can say Facebook page one, page one. So this one will be page two. This one will be page three, and this one will be page four. If I save this, so you can see what I have over here, Jerry.
Yes, sir.
This answers your question now.
Yes, very well.
Okay, okay. So this is how you do nested lists. So if you want to nest the list again, you can also do the nested list. Particularly, one thing I know they use this thing for in website is drop down menus. They use it for
Yes.
drop down menus. So copy. Let me use this item over here. So I have my anchor tag. Then this closes the anchor tag. Come here. If I save this, you can see that you can see how you nest it again.
Hmm.
So that is how you do this. The question you asked, this is how they do it. Then, but you'll be able to use your CSS to style it. You can style it anyhow you want. Let us do a bit of. Let me just do a bit of styling. Let me say the ID of this one. I can say the ID should be maybe menu. Okay, so that we can be able to come to the head session over here, create a style tag. So my style tag, since it's an ID, I select using the hash. No, I select using the hash. Then that will be menu. Okay. So for my menu, let me first say background color red. So I'm selecting the right thing. So the first thing I will want to style is I want to remove all these dots over here. So the first thing I can do, um, let me remove this background color. I can just say another list style type, none. If I save this, you can see that all the disks that we have, everything is gone. So if I want to remove all the underline, for example, if you take a good look at what we have for each of the link list items, we have an A tag. Then in the A tag, by default, when you want to, by default for every A tag, it is underlined. This is text
Yes.
decoration under CSS. So for me to remove the underline, all I have to do, let me copy this one so I won't have to. So I can just say list, then A. Then I can say text decoration, none. Save this. You can see all the underline is gone. I can also use my hand to set the color. So color, I can say the color should be maybe brown or something. If I save this, you see everything, the color is brown. I can do something like margin. So I can say margin top and bottom should be maybe 8 pixels. Then left and right, no, let's just leave the left and right for now. So you can see the margin now. So there are so many things you can do with this. So many things. So many things. I'm very sure that this thing that is happening over here, all these list items that you have, they might be a product of nested list if we inspect this page. But there are so many ways to do it anyway. There are so many ways to do it. So I guess that answers your question.
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. So no. Okay, I hope nobody is asking a question on the chats. Okay, no one. So come back here. Now we are going to be talking about forms. Forms. So a form is one of those ways by which you can create interactivity in your HTML web page. So an HTML form is used to collect user input. The user input is most often sent to a server for processing. So the form element is used to create an HTML form for user input. So the form element is a container for different type of input, such as text, fields, checkboxes, radio buttons, submit buttons, and so many other things. So if you want to create a form, so let me come the form element. Okay. So for you to create a form, just use the form tag. So the action, your action will be where you are going to be submitting the data that you want to collect from this user. So most times you are going to be using JavaScript to prevent this default. Then you do whatever you want to do with the data you collect from the user. That is what you will do most likely. But in this case, I'll just leave this one. I'll just leave that for now. So anything that you put into this place, as soon as you click enter on your keyboard, I think it is going to, that is one of the default behaviors of the form element. Now for you to create an input, a way for the user to a way to accept data from the user, you can use the input element. So you define the input, you define the type and all those, then you create a button with which you will submit the data. So, for example, you can say if we want to collect a text, for example, say first name and last name, then we have a submit button. So you can do something like input. VS Code makes your life way easier. You can see all these input items that you can have: date, time, email, file, hidden, image, month, number, password, radio range, and so many things that you can do. But the one I want is the type input. I was writing the CSS. So input text. So you have the input tag. It's a self-closing element. Then the type is going to be text. The name, the name that will be sent to the server, because this will be sent as a dictionary. So, or an object rather. In Python, you call it a dictionary. It's not too different. So the name, you can, for them to identify the data that the user will enter in this point at this for this particular field, we can do something like the name is going to be maybe let's say first name. If you want to style this particular field, you add your ID, or you want to select it in JavaScript. Let me also add first name. So if I should save this and I come back, you can see this div over here. You can see the div over here. But for us to be able to the input element, but to make it better, let me copy this and the form element. Let me use the form element. I'm zoomed in. That is the reason why this thing is very big like this. So please, if I save this, you can see we have the form element. But to make your form more descriptive, you can add a placeholder here. So the placeholder, you say enter your name. Okay. If I save this, you can see the placeholder, enter your name. Another thing you can do is to add a label. So you say this label is for first name. No, first name. Now, there are no consequences if this doesn't tally with this, but for search engine crawlers, it is good for you to add these four attributes. First name, it should correspond with the name that we have that the label is for. So you can just say first name. If I save this and I come back here, you see that I have first name, then I have the input text box, text field. Now, another thing that I like to do is to come here and add a line break. so that it will just push this one below it. So if you want to accept maybe let me add another line break. So for this one, if you want to accept maybe last name, this one you come here, last name, this one will also be last. You save it. You can see that I have first name and last name, but let me add another line break to it so I can easily demarcate the two of them. So you can see the first name, the last name. And don't forget, the type is text. The type is text. If you want to accept an email, so the type is going to be email. For example, so for me to accept email, you can do something like email address. So for this email address, the type is going to be email. Okay. So this will be the name email. So the placeholder you can be enter your email address. Okay. If I should save this now, you can see I have the first name, the last name, then the email address. We have so many other input types. We have the radio buttons, we have the check boxes, and a lot of all of that. We also have the text area. We have the text area. So you can do something like text area. So the name can be maybe your biography. So bio. Then I can also use the ID of bio. Column 30, rows 10. Then you can also do placeholder. You can do a placeholder of maybe your bio. If I save this, you can see that it is giving me the text area over here, but I don't like the way it is looking. Let me bring up these other ones. So this label is going to be for bio. So this one will also be for bio. Okay. So VS Code is giving me the rows and columns by default, but I can just remove them. So if I save this, you can see how small it is. You can see how small it is, but if I should bring it back, so you can easily adjust your rows and your columns, and you can also use CSS to define a particular width and a particular height. You can also use CSS to remove the ability of the user to adjust this thing. So you can see the way I'm adjusting the text area. I will be able to type inside here anything I type, so it will wrap the words and all that. But if I increase, you can see. So whichever way you want your design to flow, it is very possible. So this is for text area. These are the ones that are going to be using mostly. We have the checkboxes, we have the radio buttons, and we have the select also. The select, the one that comes with a drop down. Let me quickly show you that one. The select that comes with a drop down. So this one you can say, um, let me just say options. I can't think of something. So, or let me say level of education or something. Level, maybe level of education. Okay. So for this level of education now, we are going to be having selects. So this select it will have a name. Let me say level. Don't forget the name have to correspond with this one. Then the ID also will be level. Then if I come down, then I'll start entering the options. Options. So I'll say this option. Normally, what you want to do for the first option, you can set the value will be zero. Then you have select. So this is what I like to do for the first option. Now the second option. So you can be having something like maybe one. So this one you can be having something like SSCE. Then another option can be something like please can you think of the option that is supposed to be after SSCE? I think it should be NCE, right?
Yes, let's see.
I think it should be NC. So I can just give NC a value of 2. Then I think after NC it should be ND.
ND, yes. Then
So I
HND.
can give ND 3. Then these values is how you are going to be identifying all these input values, all these input options on on the server. So I would have shown using a server now, but I'm not in a position to start up a server. For this will be HND. Then number 5 will be BSC. Number 5 will be BSC. BSC. Then copy. We can have something like 6 MSC. Then let's do 7 PhD and we'll stop there. So save this. Now, if you come down, you will see level of education. And for the level of education, if you select, you can see all the options all these options that we added. You can see the SSC, the NC, the ND, HND, BSc, and the MSc. So that is how you add your select input. So we have so many other ones. Um, Inputs. So you see all these inputs over here, the checkboxes. You can also have a color input, the date where your user gets to select the date, the email. So we have so many of them, so many of them. But I'll just stop here. You can just play around with it. But one last one that we'll need to talk about is the submit. So for you to create a submit button, you can just come here and maybe add 2 line breaks. So after the 2 line breaks, you can do something like input submit. So this is what it will look like, input submit. The value can be submit, or you can do something like register. Okay. So save this one. You can see register. So if you click on this particular button now, it will attempt to submit the form. That is the default behavior of HTML forms. When you learn about JavaScript, you will understand this particular feature better. You will understand it better. Another way to create your button is to do something like button with the type of submit. Yes, button type submit. Then you enter something like maybe um, submit form. Anything, anything at all. So you see. So if you take a good look at what is happening here, both of them, it is displaying them side by side. That is to tell you that my inline elements. But if I come here and bring in a line break, so I can just put this one under this one. I can add another line break. So the space will be obvious. So you can see I've added another line break. So we have so many ways to create your form, but I think this will be a good introduction for you under forms. So well, the floor is open for questions. If you have any, please ask your questions. Jerry, got any questions on forms?
No, no questions actually, but um, okay, the video will always be available, so but the speed is much.
The speed is much.
Yes.
Wow. Okay, I'll try to be slower a bit.
No, actually, there's I know there's a lot to cover within a short time, so it's okay.
We are almost done actually. I don't plan to go beyond 1 hour for this. I don't plan to go beyond 1 hour.
All
I
right.
don't plan to go beyond 1 hour. HTML is not something that you should spend all your time on because CSS is still there and CSS they know they learn and finish.
Hmm.
So I'm telling you, nobody knows all of CSS, but you just know enough to do as much as you know. So let's just go into now for For the last second to the last thing that we're going to be talking about, we are going to be talking about responsive design. Okay, we're going to be talking about responsive HTML. So you calling a website a responsive website, it means that if you open the website on a small screen, the website will not throw up. I mean, it will look nice. If you open it on a big screen as well, it will also look nice. That is what you refer to as a responsive website. A responsive website. So take a good look at this other one. That let's use YouTube for example. So if I should Control Shift I, so this is Halogenius Ideas. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I don't know when you're going to be watching this. So this is the live that we are on at the moment. So if I should Control Shift I, I'm currently on YouTube. I believe you can see my screen, right? Oh, sorry, you can't see my screen. So I'm currently on YouTube. I'm currently on YouTube. So if I should Control Shift I, so you can see the way this website is behaving. You can see the way this website is behaving. Let me. So if you visit this website on, let me reload the website. So this is me in Chrome Developer Tools. So you can see the way the website is behaving now. Let me take it to responsive. So if I should collapse the screen, note the behavior of the website. You can see that the website is adapting to the size of the screen. If I should increase the size, so but if I should close, you can see the way this it collapses this one to the side a bit. That is part of what you can do with CSS actually. Let us go to that conga that we visited the other time. So just observe the way this particular website is going to be behaving when I collapse it. Control Shift I. So if I should shrink the page, so you can see the way it takes away that particular the menu on top on the smaller screen. You can see it displays it. So those are part of those things you can do that will make your website look nice. You can see it brought the menu down here. So you can see. This is what you refer to as a responsive website. A website that if you load it on a small screen, it looks nice. If you load it on a big screen, it looks nice. It's not throwing up. So that is a lot of CSS you are putting into it to make sure you are going to be writing what we refer to as media queries. With the use of media queries, you can make your website responsive. So it is not an HTML thing, but it is more of CSS and sometimes JavaScript too. But it's good for me to just introduce it to you now, so you know that something like that exists. So apart from that, okay, so 63. I have 7 more minutes. So before we call it a day, I want to give you a taste of JavaScript. I want to give you a taste of JavaScript. Now, JavaScript basically is what you use to add interactivity to your HTML website. You use it to add interactivity. You use it to add some additional features basically. One might want to ask, what is the difference between HTML, CSS, and JavaScript? Basically, HTML is what you use to define the elements in a web page. You use CSS to define the look, the layout, how this element, what is going to be looking like. But you use JavaScript to define the additional functionalities of those elements. So for this particular tutorial, I'm going to be using a very simple counter. I'm going to be using a counter to demonstrate to you how JavaScript works. Okay, so come here, then okay. So now let me do it on top. So I'll just do it on top of this other one. Okay. The form element, let me see the a taste of JavaScript of JS. Okay. Now I can do something like let me add a section. So in this section I will add a span. So this span I will put something like 0 inside. Then let me add a line break. So for this line break I'll add a button. I can do something like increase, then I will add another button. This one will be decrease, so that I'll be able to select the two buttons. I will add a class to this one, maybe ID rather. I can say btn plus. Then this one will be btn minus. Btn plus and btn minus. Okay. So if I should save this, you can see this is the span element over here. Or should I use H1? H1. If I save this, so you can see that it is bigger now. So I don't think I need this one anymore. Okay, so this is the digit, then this is the increase and the decrease button. So what I want to do is if you click on this increase button, it will increase the value of what I have over here by one. If you decrease, then it will decrease it by one. Okay, so this is something you can do with JavaScript. This is the list. This is the list of what you can do with JavaScript. You can use JavaScript to even query data on another server and populate your web page with it. So that is it. BTM plus. Okay. So I need to add an ID for this one. The let me say the digits. Okay. So I can come to let me create a JavaScript file index.js. Okay. So this JavaScript file, don't forget, I told you that if you want to link your JavaScript like that, it is advisable to come to the end of your script, of the body tag over here. So script is going to be having the source attribute, then index.js. If I save this, then I can come here. Since this is my HTML over here, okay, this is my HTML over here, so I can just carry my JS. I want to put it under. It's not allowing me to put it under. Very good. This is what I want to do. So this is my HTML. I'm dividing my screen into two. So this is the JS and this is the HTML. For me to show that my the JS is linked properly, I can just say console dot log then ready. Okay. Save this and come here. Control Shift I. So I don't want this one. And let me bring the console under. Okay, so this is the console. You can see ready to go and ready. I think I have one JavaScript somewhere on top here. Okay, so let me delete the whole of the JavaScript on top so it will not confuse us. If I save this, okay, so this is the only JavaScript here. I hope you can see my screen, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good, very good. So okay. Now, the first thing I want to do is to select all the elements of interest. What are the elements of interest? Digit, BTN plus, this should be BTN minus. Okay. So digit, BTN plus, and BTN minus. How do you select them? You can use the get element by ID or you can use the query selector. But well, let me use get elements by ID. I will use the two of them. I will use the two of them so I can show you diverse ways to select. But this is a JavaScript thing actually. So I can do something like let you can say let the digits element be equal to the document dot get element by id. And what is the id of the element? The id is digits. So basically I'm picking this element. This particular element is what I'm picking. So for the second one, let this btn plus, you can say btn add or whatever you want to use. Document dot get element by id btn plus. Okay, so I can just copy this one, then paste it again, but this will be minus. This will also be minus. No, btn minus. Okay, let this one be btn subtract sub. Okay, so save it. Now you can see that I've selected this element. I've also selected this and this. For me to show that I've selected them, let me print them to the console. So I can do something like console.log. Oh god, we are gone past 1 hour. So console.log, then I can print my digit element. If I save this, my digit element is showing me null, which is not supposed to be. Okay, it's
That
supposed to
digit
be
has S.
digits. Yes, yes, yes. I'm just seeing it now. I'm just saying it now. If I save this, yes, you can see H1 digits. So this is the element over here. This is the element over here. So, but for the BTN add, if I save this, so you can see the BTN um, plus, then we also have the sub. So I've selected all of them successfully. So in JavaScript, there's something we refer to as an event listener. An event listener, you can think of it as a web server that is patiently waiting for an action to occur so that it will trigger something. So it will trigger a response basically. A web server is patiently waiting for a request to be made. So based on the manufacturer's commands, it might have to verify the authenticity of the request. Then it will perform a particular action, maybe return a response or an error, as the case may be. So in JavaScript, an event listener is something that you can use to carry out an action if an event happens. So now for the increase and the decrease, I can do something like for BTN add now. I can do something like BTN add dot add event listener. Okay. So what event do I want to add? The event I want to add is a click event. So you will understand this part, especially you will understand it better if you take the course on JavaScript. I think this is it over here. Um hello juniors and GS. Um the one on JavaScript. This is the course over here. This one over here. So I explained all these things better there. So just check it out. So the click event, then I can use an arrow function here. So but to keep it simple, let me just say function, then okay. So the first thing I want to do is to select this thing, to select the element, but I've selected it already, so I have no problem. So the first thing I want to do, I can just say let's current value equal to this particular digit element dot value. Okay, so this dot value now, just for security purposes, I might want to convert it to a number first. So I'm doing what we refer to as typecasting here. So typecasting is basically you converting from one data type to another data type. That is what you refer to as typecasting. So I can just do something like the digit element dot value will be equal to the current value plus 1. If I save this and I click on this increase, I'm having btn add this btn add digit element. Okay, console.log the digit element dot value. If I save this and I click on it, okay, I'm supposed to do inner HTML, I think. Inner HTML. Um, inner HTML. Okay, if I had used the span tag, I think that is where if I click on exactly. So you see that me clicking on it now, it is increasing the. You can see the way it is increasing now. Jerry, are you there?
Yes, I'm saying so.
You can see the way it is increasing now. Okay.
Yes.
So for us to configure the decrease, it's just to copy the whole of this one. So then we just use minus here. So this one will be btn sub. It will also be a click event. Then if you save this, you can decrease the value. You can see negative 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Increase it. You can ignore this other one over here. It is because of this live server that we have installed that it is misbehaving. So you can just leave that one. So you can increase, you can decrease, you can do whatever you want. So that's JavaScript for you. That is just a taste of JavaScript for you. With JavaScript, you can do a whole lot. You can even do a whole lot to add more color to your web page, to add more beauty to it. So that is JavaScript for you. So Jerry, got any question for what we've done so far for the JavaScript?
Um, no, not no direct question.
Okay, do you have any indirect question?
I use that question because since since I've not taken the JavaScript this thing, it's still
Okay,
looking
okay,
quite.
okay, okay. Well, no problem. The take home project that I'll be giving to you guys is that you should go and work on a, say, maybe a portfolio page, just a small portfolio page where you have an image, then you have your text, your about, and all those things. You can add your email, your phone number to it. I think that particular project, we did it somewhere here. Um, Let me share my screen so I can show you that particular project. If you come to videos, we did it somewhere here. Where I did the portfolio page using just HTML is something that you can do in no time. Okay, this is it over here. So how to build a portfolio using HTML only. And this thing is something you can do under 25 minutes. Okay, so this is it over here. So just try to work on it and well, that will be all for the session. Thank you very much for staying till the end. We do appreciate it. So you can look out for a CSS and a JavaScript version of what we just did. So thank you very much. The recording will be live on YouTube, so you can always check it out. So yeah, don't forget to like the stream and subscribe to the channel for more updates like this. So thank you very much. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.
All right. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Okay.